It is the weekend, and this is an opportunity to take a little bit more time and go more slowly through the information that I'm translating as I'm looking at current energies. And we're beginning today with an intuitive reading for the Divine Feminine. And I've already shuffled and pulled cards, and here we have the card that came out for the Divine Feminine for this reading is Queen of Water. And this is an image in which this being is in her emotional depths, very peaceful, very relaxed, and feeling very safe and calm. And so based on what's happening for the Divine Feminine, we're going to go through the reading with a number of depth levels, and we'll go through this layer by layer. I'm taking my time. I'm going to enjoy my weekend morning coffee. So here you see that I have my 3 cards representing Source, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. And here I have, from the top of the deck, shuffled the Oracle deck, Wisdom Oracle deck. I have, or these three cards. These 3 cards came out. We have Flexible for the Divine Feminine, Happy for Source Energy, and Go the Distance for the Divine Masculine. And so when I look at these cards one by one, here we have Flexible for the Divine Feminine, and this works out numerologically in this deck of cards to be a 10. And I really do love this particular card because it speaks to me on so many levels, from my recognition of myself as both sacred masculine and sacred feminine within me. So here we have the energy of the sacred 3, Source, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, and here we have the repeated shape of the egg of creation, and here we have a reflection. Just noticing this today, in the egg there is a reflection of a very peaceful person here, in balance, composed, full of strength, full of energy, and just really poised, in balance. This person can probably leap off of here in a moment and go and spring and dance and leap and run through this environment with a single breath and a choice. And what I also appreciate about this is that this is a woman who has plant material growing out of her head and out of the back. So her flexibility and her identification does seem to remind me very much of the world that I'm in touch with which is that of the elementals. You could call it the world of fairy if you like. I've had some spectacular personal experience, direct experience encounters with these energies. They are alive and well. They are among us when we are open and ready to be in relationship with them. So I think one of the meanings of this card today is for the divine feminine to remain composed and quiet enough to be in her full depth immersion and full depth externalization of her connections to all realms and all worlds that she is tapping into on the sacred union journey. So that's flexible for the divine feminine. For source energy, we have happy, happy. And this is a number 26, which breaks out into a 4. Here we have a being who is in celebration, who is standing once again. We have this egg, which I appreciate. You know, these cards are drawn. They're randomly drawn. And here we have a lock. And that the feeling of this card is this lock has been opened, and all of the treasure that lies inside of that realm is open and accessible. And here we have the beautiful, again, sense of the balance of being flexible. Here, this being also could be fairy, could be angel, is upright. So we have these two eggs and these two aspects. And for me, this really does represent the relationship between Source and the divine feminine, because their relationship is very close. And in terms of emanation, we did have Source deciding to express itself in creation, and the next energy out was the divine feminine. And almost simultaneously, but not quite, was the energy of divine masculine. So we have the source, we have essence, and we have form. And these three energies are the dance of creation in every realm. So we have happy, happy. So there's a feeling for me right now that the divine union is well on its way, sacred union, and the process of learning to trust and stay in balance and deal with all the new complexities of physical, emotional, and spiritual awareness. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Divine feminine, just stay beautifully strong in your lane, stay vulnerable, and allow yourself to continue to be led and feel your way through when the dance changes and you shift into your divine masculine, and then you're leading. Now right now the divine feminine is following. And this is not gender related at all. So it doesn't matter whether you're biologically female or biologically male. Right now we're talking about the feminine energy of essence. Now for the divine masculine energy, current energy is a 9, and this is go the distance. Hopefully you're not having too much glare on the card. It's kind of hard to tell from where I'm sitting in the camera angle. I'm never sure what you're going to see. Hopefully you can see this card. This is a cheetah who is apparently heading for some kind of a mile marker, a checkered flag, a finish line. This card to me represents the quantum leaps in consciousness and the quantum leaps in trust in self and trust in source and trust in the feminine that the divine masculine really does have to engage on this sacred union journey. And he's full of power, and he's in an area where it looks as though there aren't many resources, and in a way it looks as though parts of himself, as he's in this intense race to be his authentic being, parts of him are dissolving. And he's in an environment where he is experiencing the only resource available to him is his sense of connection to his inner being, to his source of being, and his own resources. And so this is go the distance, even when you feel it's just you, and you may feel alone, you may feel like you're dissolving, you may not have a really steady sense of yourself, but you do have a sense of power and movement. And so an ability to move forward. So for me, that's what this card is indicating today, that the divine masculine is simply choosing to keep showing up. This is an incredibly important aspect of this journey, is continuing to show up with an open-hearted yes. All right. Now here I have drawn 2 cards to represent the union. So while the Queen of Water is holding the energy of the divine feminine, here we have eagle and frog. And these represent, I'm sticking to the cards, these represent the interplay between the bigger picture and the on-the-ground view. 5D, 3D, right? Bringing in information from the higher realms, bringing it in on the airwaves and coming down through the elements. Air, water, fire, and earth, till we get this information grounded in our purified and cleansed bodies. So this is a beautiful representation of the, you can think about the vast space between these 2 energies, and yet these 2 energies are now working in tandem together. And not only that, but because they switch roles. So the divine feminine can be the one in the air bringing in the information from the higher realms, or she can be the on the ground, close to the earth, authentic self that is bringing in her mission and her understanding of what's happening now with our massive spiritual journey on the planet. She can hold both of these positions, and so can the divine masculine. And you want to consider that if an eagle was hungry enough and wanted to, it could catch a frog and devour it. But this is no longer the relationship between divine feminine and divine masculine. This has become a relationship of trust in the attributes we bring to the process. Now I'm going to have another sip of coffee. It is a weekend morning. I'm not in a hyper mood. I'm not in a hyper speech pattern. And so if this is too slow for you and you don't want to take this information in a relaxed way, I understand that. You can come back another time. These readings are, they're a reading of current energies, and they'll be appropriate for you whenever you are able to take the time to feel into yourself this way and to participate in opening who you are into a glimpse that may be fresh and new and supportive for you. All right, now we're going to go into the reading, and I have pulled 8 cards, and these cards again represent aspects. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more because this is another guided spread. These cards that are face up are representations of archetypal energies. And that's what the traditional tarot represents. It represents a kind of mm, the space that evolves from our deep unconsciousness when we understand that we as human beings have been living in repetitive archetypal patterns, and we do continue to live in these streams of archetypal patterns. And as we come into our authentic self in the sacred union journey, we recognize when any one of these archetypal patterns is operating within us as a frequency or a container of consciousness. And on the sacred union journey, we recognize when we have the ability to recognize an archetypal pattern and to release it, and open to an expanded view of ourselves that takes us out of any archetypal pattern that would keep us locked in duality. So what I have done with these cards is just we'll go through them first, and then for the extended reading I'll come back and we'll do the coupling of what is the balancing energy for these cards, these archetypal energies. So I've chosen the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reid for these cards because they give us more space to explore our archetypes than traditional tarot. Okay, so here we have air, and here we have this angelic being surrounded by other birds of a feather, and they're in conversation, and whatever are they chattering about? So it feels to me in this card that the divine feminine is in a position where she's listening to geese gossip, and she's wondering how much of this geese gossip she should pay attention to, and what of this geese gossip she's going to choose to listen to, consider, and incorporate as she uses her discernment. And so you see she has four geese and then another little birdie, I don't know what birdie that is, on her lap. But above her she has two doves. And so the two doves are her intuition and her connection to source. And so while she's listening to the gossip and listening to the chatter and the kind of low vibrational, low frequency communication, she's sitting very calmly, and she knows that she can discern what information she needs to pay attention to and what information in the archetypal energy of gossip or innuendo or negative self-talk. Where is she going to bring her discernment into this and listen with the ear of truth? And she's not chasing these birds away. She's not in any kind of a struggle with them. She's just listening. And she's listening in an open way, but you can see that she is connected. And this, for me, often represents a card of discernment, and discernment being featured as a part of our transformational journey. Very important. Next, we have the star. And this is an energy of, I am shining in my authenticity. I am shining. I have opened into that part of me, and I am fully embracing it. So for me, this is the sun. I am shining in who I am. I am relaxed. I arrive. I bring my energy with me. This is the card numerologically is a 10. And I have no need to be boastful. This is not an egoic shining. This is an I am fully present to who I am shining. So this is a wonderful energy for the divine feminine to access when she is in that space of being her fully authentic self on the journey. She does need to remember to hold her own sovereignty and to shine in it, to shine to herself, to shine to source, and to shine to her divine masculine when he needs a beacon of loving light to remind him how to shine, to be fully present to who he is. Next, we have the Six of Earth, and we have this wonderful, wonderful image of a grounded, four-legged creature who's also connected to the other realms and to higher communication. The antlers in all of these cards, like feathers, for me speak to having a communication channel that's open, that we can hear, that we listen to. So I feel that we've gone, in a way, we've had a progression from being exposed to lower frequency energy to perhaps some negativity, to perhaps people who are engaging in gossip because they're not remembering who they are in their authenticity, or they're threatened by someone else's authenticity. And this is often the case with the Divine Feminine. When she begins to fully shine as her own sovereign being, there's a kind of a pre-wave, and there's gossip around who she is and what she's doing. And so we've gone from, okay, I can handle that energy, to, well, you may think that's who I am, and you may be projecting, but this is who I am in my authenticity, and I trust it, and I know it. I know who I am. And then this feels to me like allowing that solidity to come into always remaining connected to higher, clear communication, where the energy or the low vibration of gossip is not something that's being, it's been discerned, and it's not something that's being taken in or integrated. It's been released as being something that needs to be released. Now, often gossip will hit us at the emotional level. While we're dealing with other people's ideas and feelings about who we are, this can touch us emotionally if we haven't come into balance and we're not really feeling very connected and just relaxed in our own sovereignty of being. So I think from here, what I'm feeling happens next is we come into, okay, you handle that, can you handle this? And this, we go from a 7 of air to a 10 of air, which is maximum dialing up on doubt, confusion, difficulty, challenge. And this is mental energy. This is when we really are developing our discernment. So as all of this scattershot, static, this is an image of a woman who is looking at static, at mental static. And so when we've done our process and we're in our process, we can recognize, oh, I've moved into a zone of mental static. And once again, I'm going to just observe it. I have not pulled in my power. My wings have not collapsed. I'm still in my sovereignty, and I'm going to observe this static, this frequency, and then release what needs to be released. And from there we move to, oh, that was a workout. That was quite the workout. And here I am. Here I am. I'm in my human expression. I may be feeling a little banged up, but I know that I have the ability to just rest and relax and to be carried by the energy of Source, to be held in a container of consciousness by my divine masculine, and the inner light is strong and steady because I can always return with a few breaths, with a few quiet moments. I now, because I'm dealing with balance and flexibility, I can return to that part of me that knows the truth of who I am, the truth of my connection in this union, and I can just relax and let my body know that I've been through another really big growth process, another part of the trust journey. And I'm okay, and I'm okay. I can let my shoulders down, I can relax. I can take a hot bath. I can go for a walk. And when I'm ready to do that, this giraffe will come down very gently to its knees so that I can hop off and take care of myself. Okay. Now we're not done yet, because apparently we're going to be doing some rocking and rolling in the next day or two, maybe longer. These energy flows are unique to all of us. We may stay in one energy flow longer than our brother or our sister or our partner, because we're unique individuals, and the journey, the Sacred Union journey, is absolutely unique. Another swig of coffee here. Oh. And even though I've gone through the process of understanding that coffee is a plantation slave food, and I had to adjust my relationship to how my intake of that, and to being conscious when I'm drinking coffee and conscious of the overall energy so that I can transform that consciousness in my body. It's delicious. And I do love it. I've been drinking it since I was 2 years old. Now you can see that we've gone from 7 of air to 10 of air to 9 of air. And for me, in this image, the anxiety of all the static, all the doubt, all the confusion, all the moments when we are having to go within and listen so deeply to feel the impulse of our next choice. The 9 of air reflects that energy to me. So she's heard the static, she's looked at the static, she's felt the static. This is where she's bringing this all into balance. And she's bringing it into balance from a place of holding space for herself and holding space for the static, making friends with the static, spreading her wings, and transforming the static as a feeling, emotional, mental, and spiritual moment in time. She's bringing this static to a coherent circle. And while she may still have feelings about it, and it may still be challenging, she has come into her composure in her sacred feminine to be able to work these energies and to transmute the information and to hold it in balance. Here she's poised on the edge, about to take a leap, and she's got to make sure that she's ready to take that leap. And so she's considering it and using her discernment and bringing everything into alignment. So when the time for her to take the leap, when that impulse is clear, she's got her wings spread and she is ready to take that leap and fly. Now, next we have, having gone through all of that journey with static and with confusion and with doubt and with gossip and innuendo and perhaps feeling we're in low frequency vibrations where we may not be clearly perceived by other people, and we have to deal with that and not get defensive about it, but remain steady in who we are. Here in this card, we can feel the longing. We feel the longing. We feel the longing of being so deeply connected to Gaia and to Source. And we feel this immense bliss, this kind of very sensual bliss, as we are beginning to tap into our sacred sensuality, and it is aligning with our emotional energy, and we are pulling up all that we need to know and feel to dig deep into our own emotional body, to bring out all memories, all places where we have love that was lost, love that's incomplete, love that's unrequited. It's time for us now to pull all of this up out of our divine template, out of our etheric bodies, out of our subtle bodies, and into our emotional bodies where we can process this information connected to our heart energy. And so this is a wonderful, wonderful image for me today of this divine feminine energy simply just in a place of being held, secure, and fully in her feelings. She is not overwhelmed. She is fully feeling and she is knowing. And this is an embodied knowing. This is not a detached knowing. So we've gone from the mental energy into the emotional energy. And here we are taking all of that in. Now, next what happens is as we have processed this information, you see, she's come down to earth. She's feeling it all. She's processing it all. She's becoming conscious of it all. She's transforming it. And here comes her divine masculine showing up to say, ah, there we are. Here we are together. I'm standing in my balance in the material environment, strong and ready to co-create with you. You're bringing the emotion. You're bringing the emotional balance to our union. I'm bringing the strength and the innocence and the playfulness. Not to take this journey too seriously, but to remember to have fun with it, to remember to be lighthearted. And here we have a reflection of, again, the antenna, of being connected, of being able to, with discernment, know what our next guided impulse is going to be. From the heart space now. We've come out of the mental energy. Here you can see this being is kind of disembodied, not fully present in the body. Where's the rest of the body? And here, in these two cards working together, fully embodied, having the human experience, having processed and transformed the emotional, mental, and spiritual information and being present in it. Ready to play, ready to feel, ready to love, ready to explore, ready to go. All right, so that's the general reading for the Divine Feminine. And I'm going to now go into the couplings in the extended reading about what are the balanced energies. Some of that may be shadows. Some of that may be additional moments of supercharged inspiration that happen along this journey. I'm sure if you're on this journey, you're aware of when those moments of supercharged inspiration and support show up for you. But if this is where you leave the reading today, thank you for tuning into my channel. I appreciate you so much, and everyone who's on this journey, you just get an enormous hug from me, because this is really, really the most profound work, consciousness work we will do while we're in bodies. And I applaud each and every one of you for continuing to show up and just say yes. And for me, I've cleared so much of my emotional body and come out of duality to the point where I'm pretty neutral. And I hope my tone of voice isn't boring for you, but I'm coming from such a relaxed place now, having merged etherically with my sacred union, divine masculine, and we're on this journey, and it has been a number of years now. And the thing where I have allowed myself to settle into place, the container of consciousness, is trusting not knowing. Every time I need to know, I know. Every time I ask a question, I get an answer. But in the space between questions and answers is the delight of mystery, of letting go of control, of being vulnerable, of not having to know until I need to know. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you're having one where you live, or the time where you're watching this. a time of relaxation, if not a full weekend, to take good care of yourself. And once again, thanks for watching. Please like and please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next time. And I do hope you'll come on for the extended. The link is down below in the description. Ease, grace, abundance, wisdom, and love. Bye.